podcast where we talk about anything and everything from faith, finance, and fitness to things that life throws at us. Guys, before we continue on to our next podcast, I would just ask if you could subscribe or comment if you're on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, be sure to follow us. Hit us up with a rating and all these things. And if you are on Apple Podcasts, we would just ask as well for a follow and a rating. It helps out tremendously with the algorithm. And check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Bogan Ever Podcast. So we all are a part of this somehow. We are all a part of a friendship. Today we're talking about specifically the red flags in friendship. I don't have my list in a particular order. These are just things that I've witnessed and I've experienced, and it's something that I hold true to my heart. And I don't say this from superiority. I don't say this as someone who I've never done these things. I just say this as someone who, I don't take friendship lightly by any means. So this is something that, I want to share with you guys. And if you enjoy, great. If you don't, then I'm sorry. But go comment down below if you're on YouTube, if you agree, if you disagree, if you have anything that you want to add on to it. So the first red flag when it comes to friendship is people who use you all the time. So that might mean your resources. You might be well off. You might be someone who has a car, who has connections, whatever. And that's a huge red flag for me because I don't like people who approach me with an agenda-based thing. I want to be approached as someone for my heart, for my values, for my character in Christ. And so be wise, be very thoughtful. If when someone approaches you, do they always need a ride? Do they always need money? Do they want to seek out your heart as a friend because, you're someone who has something or of someone? And be very cautious with that because unfortunately we do live, in a day and age where everything is an agenda-based thing, where people have a hidden agenda. And just be as authentic as you can. Part of your authenticity is by really truly seeking out the heart of a person as a friend over what they have. So another red flag as well is you don't want to be clingy, but at the same time, you do want a friendship to be mutual. You want it to be neutral. You want it to be both-sided. You don't want it to be a one-sided thing. The reason being is, why would you want to put energy and time into something that is so one-sided coming from you? Why invest into that? And let me say this too, it is not selfish to have the same standards or expectations of someone, pouring back into the cup just as much as you do. It is not. For a period of time in my life, I always thought, if it was selfish for me to expect the same standards or the same effort into a friendship, but it is not. So if you're someone who, you're friends with, or you're trying to be friends with someone and they're not putting the same effort, just drop them. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy, because of the fact that your worth, first of all, is in Christ, and your worth is also to be put into people who care about you just as much. So it's not a self-centered. So just meditate on that. So here's a big one. Another red flag is just really, making you feel less than yourself or devalued. What I mean by that is, if you're in a group setting, or if you're talking to someone, hanging out with them one-on-one, whatever the case may be, and they, with their presence, with their portrayal, make you feel less than what you know to be the truth, what who you truly are, that is a huge red flag. Because as friends, we're to be encouraging towards each other. We're supposed to be driving each other to success, to the things of Christ, to so many things. And I don't think that a friendship that involves, you feeling crappy about yourself or gloomy is not the way to go. But here's the thing. There are a lot of people who try to look over the edge and try to justify, oh no, they were just having a bad day. Oh no, they're a good friend. But it's like, no, if you will know by the fruits. And what I don't mean so much spiritual fruits. I mean fruits in a sense of their effort and their energy, and how that reflects onto you. In the beginning of 2021, I left a friend group that just was extremely toxic. They made me feel less than myself. I just was kind of grossed out, and it took a while to recover from that, for sure. These were friendships that went on for years, and I genuinely thought there was true friendship and stuff, until I just, really was convicted on and just had to meditate and think a lot. And I separated myself from that. But, that all started from taking the action, taking the step of stepping away from a group that made me feel less than myself. Another thing too is, there is healthy conflict and there is unnecessary conflict. A red flag in friendship is unnecessary conflict. The reason being is because if you have healthy conflict to where things are resolved in a civil manner, and there was just a disagreement or a disturbance, that's okay. That's normal and that's fine. But when it comes to a point where it's continually happening, and it's just an ongoing toxic environment, that is so unhealthy for so many reasons. But one of them is also the way it can affect you negatively. And so it's very important to really just think about, why be in a friendship, why entertain something if it's going to continually have some sort of conflict or some form of toxicity. So one big red flag as well, that you might not realize in the moment, is lack of accountability. Unfortunately, we live in a day and age where people are so caught up on their feelings that they're not going to say the truth. The truth does hurt, and the truth is necessary to grow. Now, you are to share the truth in love, as Christ did. However, lack of accountability is some form or some view for some people of, oh, I love them, so I'm not going to correct them, I'm not going to hold them accountable, whatever. That is so dangerous, because the real friends are the ones who are going to tell you what you don't want to hear. Whether it's, oh, hey dude, I'm not going to lie, I think you gained some weight, I think you got to chop it down a bit on what you're eating, or I think you should do more exercise. Hey man, I don't think how you're running your spiritual life or your spiritual discipline is right, and I'll tell you why, because of XYZ. Hey, you said this, you did this, it was kind of inappropriate, and here's why. Those are the kind of people you want in your life. You don't want the kind of people who are just going to let you slip up continually without convicting you out of love. They're going to tell you if you're doing something wrong and they don't want to, correct you out of love. They're going to tell you the complete opposite. They're going to try to justify your actions. They're going to try to make you feel good about yourself, but you're not to feel good about yourself. You're to do what is right. So it's super important, because the kind of people who don't care about you are the kind of people who are going to tell you everything you do is right. But sometimes that might not be the case. You might be doing wrong things without knowing, and that comes from lack of accountability. So here's the last one. Here's a big one, is lack of loyalty. This boils my blood, because I am very, very vocal about loyalty. Is something that I draw on and I hold near close to my heart. Loyalty is super important, and if there's a lack of that, that's a big issue. That is a big red flag, because I cannot stand, people who think loyalty is just a small thing. Loyalty is not a small thing. Loyalty is everything in a friendship. So what that may look like in regards to lack of loyalty is someone who will smile in your face, be nice to you, whatever, and then talk behind your back. That could also just mean people who are more drawn to what the crowd is and not what the right thing is. And it hurts. It hurts, and it's something that boils my blood. I'm so big on loyalty to where I just hate when people call me bro, because bro is short for brother. And for me, I have very few brothers in my life who I can actually count on, and which is fine, which I'm okay with, because I would very much rather have 4, 5, 6, 7 loyal brothers than 20 questionable, is this my friend sort of thing. So when people come up to me and go, oh, what's good, bro, how you doing, bro, it's like, no, you're not my bro. You're not. We can be bros, we can be close friends, whatever, but you're not my bro, because bro is short for brother. That's what I'm internally thinking, because these little swing by night people, I don't like it. I don't like it, and I don't appreciate it, because loyalty is built over time. And it's something that honestly some people should just have ingrained. But you really need to think on what is loyal and what is not. Some of you guys might be thinking, well, Guillermo, shouldn't you be loyal anyways? It's like, yeah, you'd be surprised. People don't understand what true loyalty means. Loyalty isn't something small. Loyalty isn't like, oh, you should question. It's like, no, loyalty should be a set standard for a healthy friendship. Loyalty is accountability. Loyalty is trust. And it's a serious foundation for friendship. I cannot stand people, and I've witnessed this, and I've also experienced this, but I cannot stand people who will talk behind other people's backs, where I've been present, I've been aware, and then you see the person that you're talking behind the back to their face, oh, and you smile and you're nice, and oh, what's up, buddies, and stuff. I cannot stand that, and that is something a lot of people do. I am the same person, privately as I am publicly. Like, if I feel a certain way, about someone, I'm gonna say it to their face, and just like how I'm feeling brave, in a small little circle or in a private conversation. That's something that a lot of people lack of, and I'm not saying this to be rude. I'm not saying this to like call people out. That's not my intention, but it's something that boils my blood, because some people are intentionally like nice and pure and innocent, and they actually try to be loyal and try to seek out that friendship, and other people just having an agenda based thing. That's honestly disgusting. And if you're one of those people, you should really contemplate and reevaluate some things. But for those of you who actually are drawn towards loyalty, keep it up, because there are people out there. So I do have a lot of friends, but I have like, a very short and a very small amount of people in my circle, because of true loyalty that has been built either over time or within a few months, and loyalty doesn't have a set like time frame. It's just with the circumstances, with the context of things, that's super important. And it's very, very rare, or not very rare, but it can be rare if you're looking in the wrong direction. If you have an iPhone, you know that there's a favorites tab. Like on that, I have like 7 or 8 people, because those 7 or 8 people, if something were to happen to me, if something, whatever the case may be, these are 7 or 8 people that are just loyal to me, and I am to them as well. If something were to happen to me, God forbid, I know I can call these people and they'll pick up the phone, or at least return my call, just due to the fact that like there is a trust, there is a sense of loyalty within our friendship. I could go so much more with red flags in a friendship. I do want to have some guests on where we talk about friendship and all these other red flag kind of things, where we're working a lot on getting people on and just having in-person interviews and in-person conversations. Just subscribe on YouTube, follow us wherever, and to check it out. That is it for today. I'm sorry if it sounded like a rant. It's just, it boils my blood when people take other people for granted and people take advantage of other people. It's something that's just not cool. It's pretty unbiblical. But one thing I do want to encourage you is, like, if you're a Christian, even if you're not a Christian, but you still want to love someone, regardless of them doing you dirty. It doesn't mean you have to like them. It doesn't mean you have to be friends with them, but you are called to love onto them still. So I would just challenge you, to be forgiving, move on, and be loving as well with your approach to things. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you listened, please give it a rating. Please give it a like. Do what you got to do. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.